Whatever your age is, if you're a gamer, you will instantly recognize the highly technological race of the ancient Protoss. Their sleek, futuristic design and psionic aptitude make their bases and armies an equally memorable and intimidating sight. The characteristic most clearly defining the Protoss gameplay style is its focus on a smaller number of valuable but more powerful units and structures. As an equal part of the timeless triad of races in StarCraft, Protoss, just like Zerg and Terran, is the chosen specialty of some amazing professional players. This is Esports.com, and here are our picks for some of the most influential Protoss pros in recent times. Classic. Starting off our list is a player who's a household name for anyone following the competitive scene. Classic earned notable results from as far back as 2014, where he snatched a GSO trophy, as well as recent high finishes such as his finals match versus Rogue in this year's grandiose World Championship Series finals at Katowice. All through, his dedication has earned him a top spot in almost all major premier tournaments, and the only opponents that he has fallen to have been the top of the elite, almost all of them part of our influential pros lists. Classic is often remembered as a heavy hitter from the time on his team SK Telecom T1, during which he earned 3 premier trophies, as well as for being the first StarCraft II pro gamer to win both a GSL and an SSL title. Even though he's been teamless ever since SKT1's disbandment in 2016, he's not the first to prove that raw skill can trump membership in a stable team, as his recent WCS finish clearly shows. We're very excited to see what the future holds for Classic, and it is sure that he doesn't appear to be slowing down in the slightest. Stats. Most consistently ranked as top Protoss in rankings from the release of Legacy of the Void up until now is undoubtedly Stats. With a GSL trophy, a recent Super Tournament win, and more than 15 Premier League podium finishes, including 4 first places, his position amongst the top Protoss is quite deserved. With experience on first-rate teams such as the juggernaut that was KT Rolster up until his disbandment in 2016, and his current home, the quickly up-and-coming Splice, Stats has all the markings of a champion. His signature style, recognizable by crisp micro and nearly unmatched multitasking, has earned him more than a sizable purse from his competitive career thus far. Similarly to Classic, analyzing Stats, we again see series dropped only against the most elite top-tier pros and consistent finishes deep into the round of 4 nearly across the board. Without a doubt, this is one of the current masters of the art of Protoss, and his charismatic personality and cheerful attitude make it hard to not cheer for him. Neeb. We're mixing things up a bit by presenting the next pro distinguished in our list, Neeb. The American Protoss started his career back in 2013 when he still played Terran. After a switch to Protoss in 2015, he quickly rose up to be recognized as one of the top American players of his race. The wall between the skill level of foreigners and the Korean pros has always been easiest to break when spending time in Seoul, and that's exactly what Neeb did together with fellow foreigners Scarlet and No Regret. His time in a Korean-styled team house in Seoul paid off, and even though his track record against Terran players remained pretty poor, he achieved some spectacular victories against top-tier pros such as Stats and Rogue. Later in 2016, Neeb went on to play in the Kespa Cup and defeated Trap 4-0 in a sweeping victory, claiming his first Premier Championship, which was also the first ever foreigner triumph in a StarCraft II Premier tournament held on Korean soil. His dominant performance earned him the respect of many Korean fans, players, and commentators, including some from outside the StarCraft community. In the past 3 years, although not as dominant in his matches against the Korean pros, he's consistently been among the top 3 Protoss in terms of total earnings, which is very indicative of this player's influence over the global StarCraft II scene. His Greatest Gamers Award in the RTS category in 2017 only reaffirms why this foreigner is proudly featured in our list. SOS. Some draw a clear parallel between total earnings and influence, and if that's the case, one can only stand in awe of the champion in that regard, SOS. Together with his generic Green Wings teammates Rogue and Maru, the trio holds the top 3 positions in that chart with a total winning of over $1.5 million. As the first player to ever win 2 World Championship Series, namely in 2013 and 2015, it's easy to understand why his winnings are so noteworthy. Even though his results in 2017 and so far this year pale in comparison to the domination that he showed the competitive scene between 2013 and 2016, it's still important to note that SOS is one of the more entertaining players to watch. His often cheesy creative openers and tactical plays in the late game have always been a treat, and it's of little surprise that he has amassed a vast fan base. Some might say that his prime is behind him, but at the skill level that SOS is at, it is very hard to conclude something like that, while we're still seeing him get deep into premier tournaments. Seeing his likeness on the tail fin of the official Jin Air Green Wings Boeing 737-800 always brings a smile to our faces and reminds us of the immense success and influence of this Protoss and his team. Well, that's it for our list. Did we miss anyone? Let us know in the comment section below, and head over to esports.com for more esports content.